again, my beautiful brothers and sisters of Earth. So today's topic is concerning President Trump and my view of what's sort of going on in the political realm and why I believe we need to send Trump more love now than ever. Now, many of you must think I'm crazy, right? Why would someone like me, who believes in love and unity and progress and our oneness as a human race, feel like we should send Trump our love? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. If you've noticed, I've been pretty quiet about all of the political happenings that are going on right now. And that's not necessarily because I am unaware, but it's because I see their purpose. I see so many of my friends and family members getting so heated that even before Trump was inaugurated, people were already getting themselves into this frenzy and promoting all of this fear. And some even have acted out of violence with different violent protests in response to Trump becoming president. Now, here's why it hasn't triggered the same emotional response to me. It's because I see Trump as really just a figure that is composed of our collective consciousness. That he is just a reflection of a lot of the damage and disconnect that we've had with ourselves and each other. Everybody likes to point the finger at him and to now blame a lot of the world's problems, whether that be with the environment or the economy or healthcare or whatever it may be. Everybody likes to point the finger and blame this one man. Now you have to realize the state of our world and our political environment is a culmination of all of our energies feeding into it. So, should we be that surprised at manifesting a president who has a lot of hate towards others, who lives in a very fearful way, who forgets the divineness of each human being? Can we be that surprised when many of us on an individual level forget that about ourselves or are quick to judge others? I find it funny that everybody points out how hateful Trump has been or how misogynistic he has been, yet they often are exuding these same qualities in themselves by being hateful in response to him. Like attracts like, right? By no means am I saying that I approve of the guy, or that I like him, or that I would want to be his friend. But I see deeper into it. I don't let what's going on in the political world affect my emotions so much because I see that it's multidimensional. I see that there are many sides to this that we're not seeing. And we all like to blame the enemy or place all of our problems onto external factors. But we're giving our power away. Why would we give our power away to some political puppet? That seems pretty ridiculous to me. Imagine if we took all of this energy, and you can feel it, it's so intense, that we are using to express our disgust with President Trump, and actually channeled it into a solution-based focus. Rather than focusing on what is and what we don't like about it, what if we used that same energy then to bond together and transform things in the way we wish them to be? Because what we focus on grows. Before he even started putting in all these policies you're hearing of, for example, like defunding Planned Parenthood or agreeing to the continuation of the Dakota Access Pipeline, what if we put our energy into then creating something new? To be honest, I see Trump being president as ultimately a good thing. And again, not because I approve of him as a person or agree with what he does. I actually feel very much the opposite. But because he is the catalyst for creating so much awareness about what's going on in our world that it's actually creating more unity. So on the surface, it may seem like he's creating chaos and disharmony. And while this is true, we also have to see that from destruction, new life is formed. Even before he was president, and Bush was president, or Obama was president, we had a lot of issues in our political sphere, as well as in our emotional and spiritual sphere as humans. Yet, these other presidents, especially Obama, were able to sort of mask them, to not make such drastic changes that made people too uncomfortable. So even though then people were still dissatisfied with the state of the world, it wasn't really totally brought to the surface and pushed in their face where they had to look at it and really see what was going on. And that's why I see Trump as such a great thing. Because he has the ability to be a mirror and show us as humanity and as citizens of a nation the ugly truth of things that we really need to examine. So instead of seeing him and what he stands for as being a bad thing, I see it as the ultimate act that is really going to inspire people to bond together and to unify. You already see that. I mean, look at the Women's March that went on. More than ever, women and men are bonding together over this. They're becoming very unified and actually starting a conversation about these things. Whereas if they were always kind of swept under the rug and not fully surfaced, it is easy to ignore them and overlook them. So, for example, if Trump makes healthcare, say, even more unaffordable for the average citizen than it already is, guess that's what that's going to create. That's going to create an upheaval of sorts and a rebellion, because people aren't going to stand for that. Now, when Obama was president, let's be honest, healthcare wasn't that affordable then either. And the way the system works really wasn't that much in the average person's favor. But now that people are forced to be aware of what's going on, they can really be inspired to stand together and take political and emotional and spiritual action that is needed to truly transform this dimension and to transform our lives. Now, you know I'm all about the light and living in the light and promoting the light, but we mustn't forget that the darkness has its place as well. And in fact, some may say that the darkness is even more beautiful because it is the only thing which pushes people to make real change, because it's that contrast. And by having that contrast of seeing what we don't want, we can be really inspired to take whatever actions we need to take to have what it is we want, to see what it is that we want. So, again, is Trump doing all of these very flamboyant and extraneous actions that are so against what the common people want? Is that really such a bad thing? I don't think so, because more than ever, I see it causing a shift in consciousness faster than ever before. For example, if you have an alcoholic and they have a very good support group who comes to them and tells them in a very loving way, like, hey, we got to change your life. I believe in you. You can do this. Oftentimes, they might change for a little while, but then they often resort back to the same place. And we can kind of see that again with Obama's presidency, if you want to relate that to that. But if the alcoholic goes through a period of extreme darkness, for example, let's say he gets in a car accident and almost loses his life, or almost kills somebody else, 9 times out of 10, that darkness right there is inspiration enough for him to truly change, because he is being forced to, because he is seeing, this is not a way I want to live, and I have to do something about this. So I see that again with Trump's presidency. He is just removing the mask from our collective consciousness and removing the mask from ourselves. He's just a political puppet, and he's just a reflection of us. But at the end of the day, we have the true power. And even if you want to put all spirituality aside and focus on what our country's policies and what our country's government and laws stand on, they all state that it is for the people and by the people. So why are we giving our power away? I know why we're giving our power away is because it's exciting. You can't say that focusing on negativity all the time isn't somewhat exciting, and the drama is not exciting. What makes it so exciting is because it allows us a channel to express our own internal struggles and grief and put it onto somebody else, where we no longer have to feel responsible. And that feels good because, let's be honest, self-evolvement and working on the self every day can be really messy sometimes. It can be really ugly. And I know I feel that way sometimes, like, man, I wish I could just blame all my problems on some person or on the state of the world or on the government, because it takes the pressure off of me. But we have to realize in the long run that's not sustainable. Because even if we do that and we say, oh, the government's just going to take care of it all for us, it's only a matter of time until these things arise again. And they will keep coming up and coming up and coming up until we address the root problem. And from my perspective, the root problem behind so many of our insecurities and the root problem behind our dissatisfaction with the way things are has nothing to do with external things, but has everything to do with our inability or belief in our inability that we can connect with ourselves, that we are all-powerful beings, that in fact, we as individuals are just as powerful as the government or the president, if not more, especially if we realize some of these things that I'm telling you. So my message to you is that I wish for us to move from a feeling and conversation and state of drama and fear, which only creates more of it if you focus on it, and transform that into empowerment and love. Every day, I make sure to send love to everybody I come in contact with. And I send love to our country. I send love to President Trump because he needs it. Obviously, for him to think the way he does and to carry out certain actions is just pure sign that he is a lost soul. And when we come in contact with people who we label as evil, it's easy to want to hate them more. But these people are the ones who need our love the most. You can't have a dark situation and meet it with more darkness and then expect it to become something beautiful. I love the saying that if you really want to see someone transform and change, love them as they are. Show them so much love and basically kill them with kindness that eventually those walls that they have built up within them have to break down. So, do we wish to create a reality that works for all people? Or do we wish to continue in the illusion of separateness? Because the choice is ours. It's always ours. I know what I choose. Thank you for joining me yet again, and I will see you next time. Thank you.